Hey there, Patriots. Welcome back to the front lines. This is Death Watch here to give you guys more intel so you can update your personal armory and fight back against the fake news media machine. And today we'll be discussing Mayor Eric Adams openly admitting that illegal immigration is going to destroy New York City, right? Who would have saw this coming? Every Republican who said that as long as we don't secure our southern border, our country is going to be destroyed. Our cities are going to be destroyed, right? All of these Democrats who are just saying we are sanctuary cities are now coming out and saying that there is no end in sight. There is no real end game because they never had an end goal to begin with. And so at the end of the day, the only thing that people like me and conservatives and other like libertarians with sense, right, can openly say is that this was just all this was meant to destroy and destabilize America, right? Because there's absolutely no reason to just allow a bunch of illegal immigrants to just flood our cities and do nothing about it, right? Because when you look at it, when you look at the stories, you look at the scenes, these people are just being forced to live in this rundown hotel, and that's it. They're being flooded. The city is just bringing in all these people, and there's no real purpose for this. There's no real ends goal for this. There's really no policy or real process in trying to figure out who these people are, give them jobs, give them a purpose here in America. They're just here. They're just here living in this hotel that's overcrowded. Now they're living in the streets. Some of these people are living inside of lobbies of like police departments, fire departments, right? Just overcrowding these cities, creating hostile environments, unsafe environments for the average Americans because they don't live these illegal immigrants aren't living in the upstate in the rich people's neighborhoods, right? They're living in these streets next to working Americans, and working Americans don't feel safe, right? So at the end of the day, it's like the end goal was to destabilize and destroy America. Okay, let's look at what Eric Adams has to say about this.
Support. And let me tell you something, New Yorkers. Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. One time we were just getting Venezuela. Now we're getting Ecuador. Now we're getting Russian speaking coming through Mexico. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City. And everyone is saying it's New York City's problem. Every community in this city is going to be impacted. We got a $12 billion deficit that we're going to have to cut. Every service in this city is going to be impacted. All of us. And so I say to you, as I turn it over to you, this is some of the most educated, some of the most knowledgeable, probably more of my commissioners and deputy commissioners and chiefs live in this community. So as you asked me a question about migrants, tell me what role you played. How many of you organized to stop what they're doing to us? How many of you were part of the movement?
Right. I like how he says, to stop what they've been doing to us. Like, no, we mean stop what they're. Well, who's they? What are they doing to you? Right. This has all been your policy, dude. This has been what you campaign on. This is what people voted for you in when you went on several news outlets and they asked you about what you're going to do with about illegal immigration. You said, "Hey, we're a sanctuary city. We're just going to let them in." So who's they? Who's they, and what are they doing to you? You did this to yourself, buddy.
To say we're seeing what this mayor is trying to do, and they're destroying New York City. It's going to come to your neighborhoods. All of us are going to be impacted by this. I said it last year when we had 15,000. I'm telling you now, with 110,000, the city we knew we're about to lose. And we're all in this together, all of us. Staten Island is saying, send them out to Manhattan. Manhattan is saying, send them out to Queens. Queens is saying, send them out to Brooklyn. No, it's not the game we can play.
Right. And so again, all these different districts of New York City are just playing hot potato with these illegal immigrants, right? Because nobody wants these people in their cities. They know that, hey, these people are going to make these cities unsafe. People are going to feel unsafe. They're going to bring a bunch of crime with them. They're going to bring a bunch of crisis, right? We already have a homelessness crisis in major cities already. Drug issues, drug problems, drug abuse, and all this other crap, right? Break-ins, robberies, and all this other crap. Okay, these people have no no shared national identity with us. We have no idea who these people are. No real documentation on who they are or where they came from. We just allowed them into our country, and people overtly don't feel safe, right? And this guy here, what he's trying to do, he's trying to spread the blame. He's trying to pretend like, other people are doing this to us, and we are all in this together to fight back or to manage this whole system, right? It's like, no, this is what you campaign on. This is what all the other people, all these other leftists campaign on. You guys never had any intentions of actually fighting against this issue. You guys were all on board with the whole we're a sanctuary city because it got you votes, because that's what these leftists all voted for and wanted. And now you all should suffer from the consequences, right? So the only unfortunate thing is that this is going to overtly destabilize America, right? And again, this was all manufactured to do so. There's no other way of looking at this, right? From the New York Post, NYPD can expect a flood of retirements after New York City Mayor Eric Adams' proposal to slash overtime for migrant cost cutting. Okay, so now Eric Adams is over here saying that we are going to cut the budget of Americans, of hardworking Americans, in order to feed and take care of illegal immigrants, people who are not our own countrymen. They have, they're not entitled to any money. We have absolutely no obligation to take care of illegal immigrants. You as a mayor, you as these council members, as district attorneys, as all these other people, all your obligation is to the American people. That is the oath that you guys took when you assumed those positions in office. Your oath is to the Constitution and to the citizens of the United States, not to a bunch of illegal immigrants who have no shared American identity with us, who are not our countrymen. It's as simple as that. So again, this is a purposely created issue in order to destabilize the American systems, right? Because there's absolutely no other way to look at this, right? Because these people have no end goal. There was never an end goal. There was never any policies put forth to try to manage these people, to try to do anything with these people. They were just simply brought into these cities and just tossed in a hotel, and that was it. Thousands upon thousands of people. And as we covered before, the Biden administration is busing, flying these people all around the United States, dropping them off at different locations, and then busing them to sanctuary cities. There is never a plan to take care of these people and then to try to make these people American citizens or try to give these people any type of rights. They're just being used as political tokens to manufacture a kind of crisis, right? And then these people will then try to sit here and say, oh, well, we were always against this crisis. It's all these other states, right? As with Ron DeSantis and Greg Abbott, which I kind of disagree with. Greg Abbott and Ron DeSantis and other Republicans are simply saying, hey, we don't want these illegal immigrants in our states. We're going to put them on a bus and ship them up to New York City, ship them out to these blue states who are sanctuary cities, right? And now these blue cities are trying to pretend like these illegal immigrants are the reason because of Republicans. Republicans are the ones sending it to us. They're the ones manufacturing this problem here in this city. It's like, no, they're not. This problem has been manufactured by the Biden administration. Republicans said that we need to close the border. We need to reinforce the border wall. We need to make several layers of the border wall. But the Biden administration said, no, we're going to sabotage it. We're going to continue the influx of illegal immigrants coming across our border, and then we're going to ship them out across the United States. And then you, mayors, district attorneys, senators, congressmen in these blue states said, we'll take them. We'll take them because immigrants are welcome here. Anybody who's against the allowing illegal immigrants into our country are all a bunch of xenophobes and all this other bullcrap, right? Now that you got all these people in your cities, you're now pretending like you weren't part of the problem, right? So all these people need to be impeached. All these people need to be put in jail, and everybody needs, and all these illegal immigrants need to be deported immediately. There's no reason for these people to be here because there's no end goal in sight. There's no reason for any of these people to be here at all. Okay? Like, there's absolutely no argument against not deporting these people. There's absolutely nothing nothing they're trying to do with these people. They're just living on the streets, crowding up a hotel, and as many reports have came out, right? For domestic violence and other crime is on the rise because of this, right? Other counties aren't accepting illegal immigrants because of assaults, other crimes, popping up here and there, right? So again, these people are playing hot potato with these individuals. They're playing hot potato with these immigrants because nobody wants them in their cities because they know that it was going to create a dangerous environment for their own citizens. And so these people are just forced to just live a kind of endless purgatory in a hotel and just do nothing until they leave New York City and go live in a different city. And then those cities are going to be like, who the hell are you? Why are you here? We're going to deport you. Okay. So it's just insanity. There's no reason why any of these people should be here in this country. Okay. And now, again, New York City is now trying to defund different various organizations to pay for these people. Okay, so NYPD can expect a brain drain thanks to a flood of retirements if overtime is cut, as proposed by Mayor Adams to help plug a multi-billion-dollar migrant-fueled budget hole, police sources say. Quote, a lot of people that are eligible to retire are going to leave if the overtime stops because overtime is pensionable. An NYPD sergeant said Monday, New York's finest haven't heard anything official about a potential reduction in overtime, but the source told the Post that such a move wouldn't make financial sense. Quote, we're already at a critical staffing level. I mean, housing thousands upon thousands of illegal immigrants don't make financial sense. Okay, already. New York's we're already at a critical staffing levels, and it's cheaper to pay overtime than it is to hire other officers. The source said explained that healthcare and other benefits had already been paid for when an existing officer picks up a shift. In addition to possible police, fire, sanitation, and correction, OT cuts all branches of government in the Big Apple have been told to slash spending by 5% and potentially up to 15% by spring to mitigate the skyrocketing costs of New York City's migrant crisis without more federal aid. So yeah, you're stealing money, stealing food from the mouths of American citizens to then give to illegal immigrants who have no right to be here, who you have no obligation to take care of or to house or to give your time of day to. Okay? So again, these people should be impeached and imprisoned for going against the Constitution. Simple as that. But these New Yorkers, these leftists, won't vote for it. They'll continue to vote for their own downfall, and this problem is just going to continue to spread to every other city. Okay? Recent city initiatives such as special education pre-K expansion, rent supplement for families with children, and additional litter basket collection should also be right for the chopping block, according to budget watchdogs. Possible belt tightening measures for the city were very generally laid out in Saturday directive to Big Apple agencies by Jacques Jiha, the director of New York City Mayor Office and Management of management and budget. Sources said news of the percentage cuts in the memo were rushed over fears of a leak, leaving the missive begging a number of questions. He goes on to say, Jihad warned in the memo that without a infusion of significant aid from the federal government, the city will be forced to slash costs to cover the expected $12 billion bill for sheltering migrants from the southern border over the next 3 years. Quote, we are a city of immigrants and we will always welcome people from around the world in search of a better life, right? That should only apply to people who legally immigrate into our country, okay? Not people who just hop our border. Okay, so for cops, the possibility of slash overtime was mentioned. But the NYPD source that while there will be pain over such a move, there's an upside too for some officers who are currently being forced to work extra hours against their will. Quote, morale will improve among some cops if overtime is cut because a lot of them are being forced to do unwanted overtime already. But sources at several city agencies also complained that guidance was scant from City Hall as to what they should be doing to cut costs. Okay, this is just insanity. Again, stealing from the mouths of American citizens to pay for policies that you guys decided to push where you have absolutely no obligation to consider these people. It's just, again, it's just overt destabilization of New York City and the overt destabilization of America. Okay, because there's no policies being made, there's no laws being pushed to try to make these people American citizens, which they shouldn't be. They immigrated here illegally. They should not just be automatically granted American citizenship, right? There's millions upon millions of people in different countries. To then just allow them just to walk across our borders and give them American citizenship is stupid. There's no way we can take care of all these people or house all these people, right? On top of that, it's just there's no other policies to really immigrate or essentially, again, kind of like integrate these people into society, right? There's definitely a bunch of language barriers there. There's definitely a bunch of cultural barriers there. You look to other countries. I believe right now in Israel, they're trying to deport a bunch of African migrants because I think it was like a brawl between a bunch of African immigrants panned out or whatever. A bunch of people got into a fight, and now Israel is trying to consider deporting all of its asylum seekers. All right, people from African countries who were there seeking asylum, they're now looking to deport all of them, right? And then the same thing is happening all over in Europe, right, where you have massive influx of African and Muslim migrants, and there's a bunch of like what people consider no-go zones where the culture is completely different. You literally walk down a street, all of a sudden it's like completely different. You basically walked into the Middle East, and you're like, bro, I'm supposed to be in Sweden here, right? What's going on, right? It's just all sorts of craziness that's happening around the world, along with all this unmitigated illegal immigration and asylum seeking and all this other crap, right? Is overtly just destabilizing countries all over the world because there's no real plan to house these people, to integrate these people into the countries that they're living in, right? And the whole point of the asylum seeking is to not really make these people citizens, it's just to house these people until whatever craziness that's happening in their country gets taken care of, and these people can then go back. But these people aren't going back. They're essentially changing the countries that they're living in into a newer version of the country that they fled, right? And there's a whole bunch of different arguments and ideas of nationalism, national identity, culture identity, and macro and micro cultures, right? There's a bunch of different talks about what makes a country, what makes a nation a country, homogeny, and all this other crap, right? Talks that people will just try to write you off for even discussing as being xenophobic and all this other isms, phobic and all this other crap, right? But there's like, no, there's clear discussions to be had about culture and what makes a culture and what makes a nation, right? And what makes a nation is has to be a shared national or cultural identity, and that plays a lot into a shared national belief, a shared national religion, a shared national culture, right? A macro culture, right? And when you have a huge kind of butting of heads between two different macro cultures or several different micro cultures that clearly all don't align with each other, how that will quickly and easily destabilize a country, as we have seen happen throughout history, right? And so there's definitely discussions to be had on that. It's just that you're not allowed to have those discussions on certain platforms, right? Unless you get called a all sorts of isms and phobics, right? But I'll digress on that point. But overall, again, with all this illegal immigration, and it's clear to anybody with eyes who's been watching this stuff that there was never really a end goal for all these illegal immigrants. They were just brought into this country. They're just be allowed to walk into this country, and that's it. They're a huge drain on the American financial system, and it just begs the question as to what exactly is the end goal for all these people. It is clearly not to make them American citizens. It's clearly meant to be these people to be used as political tokens for whenever a time comes for them to be activated or whatever, right? Who knows what that is, right? But right now we can clearly see that it is a huge financial drain, and as Eric Adams says, that this is going to destroy New York City. So therefore, we can only assume that this is going to destroy every city in America that this is uncontrolled illegal immigration is allowed in, and that is overtly going to destroy America, because New York City is a huge a huge like cultural realm of America. And if that destroys New York City, one of the biggest, most densely populated cities in America, well, then it's going to easily destroy every other city that this type of ideology is brought to. And you can only assume that this is done on purpose, right? So, with all that being said, like, share, subscribe, stay safe, stay sane, be vigilant, and I'll see you, Patriots, on the battlefield.